Alright, so in this video we are going to do a bit of a reaction to a combination of a thread that I'm a part of on Twitter and my reaction to a video from Ango TV. Shout out to Ango. Awesome stuff as always, and I'll put a link to his channel down below. He's really awesome. Is actually really similar as far as what I try to do with this channel, with what he does. It has largely been wrestling focused, but he also does talk other sports as well, um, particularly the NBA and NFL, similar to what I do. So definitely want to put that over for that reason right there. And I actually have enjoyed watching a lot of his content because I find him to be a very like-minded individual to myself, and for a variety of reasons, which I'm going to get into here right now, just focusing on the Twitter thread that I mentioned. And this is a Twitter thread involving a young lady by the name of Melissa and a gentleman known as Unparalleled PG. And Melissa tweeted out, and I quote, "Also and lastly, just because WWE might become good again doesn't mean AEW will fail. For the love of wrestling, stop preying on their downfall. It's bad karma and quite disgusting. Not root for your favorite company, root for both. Just enough with all the X will fall BS. And I couldn't agree more with that. And I just don't think it could have been said any better than that. And then, of course, in a retweet, Parallel PG said, "It's a sick mentality and it screams jealousy towards AEW, which is which is disgusting in its own right." I botched that. My apologies, man. But again, couldn't have said that any better. And really, the biggest thing for me, and it's funny that I actually mentioned Ango because he's actually talked about this on multiple occasions, to the point to where, I mean, well, no matter how you slice it up, we need to really get the message out there that just, bottom line, the shit needs to stop. All of it. I mean, just, we're going to go full blown Jade Cargill on it and catch these Tonys and let them know Tony cut the shit. That's really all it's got to boil down to with that. And it's just because tribalism is really unnecessary, and it is a significant catalyst as far as what's wrong with our society as it is today. And I think, and I hate bringing this up, just when it comes to politics, I've made it clear I hate talking about that, especially here. But that insurrection on January 6th of 2021 is based on a lot of what I'm talking about right now. And it's really as simple as that. And sadly, we're seeing that in something that I love along with a lot of other people, and that's this wrestling community. And it's one thing, again, because I'm a sports fan. I love sports, especially the NFL and the NBA. And you're going to have factions, nations, countries, or whatever you want to call them, of people who root for their respective teams, players, or whoever. And that's fine. And in all honesty, if we could be a little healthier in terms of how we treat our sports and carry that over into how we treat pro wrestling and really every aspect of life, in all honesty, if we could just have that kind of mentality going, I really feel like the changes that we're looking for, I mean, is because the reality of it is that with all of this going on with WWE right now, the real significance in the change we're not going to see for quite some time. Probably not until after Clash of the Castle, And and honestly, I think it may be even a little bit longer after that. Who knows? I hope that's not entirely the case, but a lot of that's not going to go through any time before that. But it's really not going to get any better the longer that we keep acting this way when it comes to specific companies, wrestlers, or whatever. I mean, The toxicity has just got to stop. And that's all there is to it. And I'll leave it at that as far as that's concerned. And I want to go ahead and focus on, my reaction to the Ango video that I mentioned earlier. And again, it's pertaining to all the changes that are taking place right now within the confines of WWE. And as was pointed out by Ango, we have Slice Wrestling, which reports a monster push ahead for one Finn Balor. And let me just be the first to say, yes, please, and I really don't think that can be said enough times and by enough people. It just really can't, because really it's just kind of baffling to me. He hasn't gotten all that significant a push since he was drafted from NXT and actually ended up being in the main event. Well, I shouldn't say the main event, I guess co-main event of SummerSlam that year, and was actually going against Seth Rollins for the newly minted WWE Universal Championship, and was the inaugural Universal Champion. And of course, that was short lived due to an unfortunate shoulder injury, which led to him vacating the title the night after on Raw. Sadly, since then, that's been as good as it's gotten for him. I mean, it's even come down to a second run in NXT where he actually wound up having a second championship run with the NXT Championship, and not really don't have anything against that at all. In fact, that was actually a good way to go about it to get his momentum going. So when he does go back to the main roster, he'll be pretty much on his way. But not only that, the fact that they're also talking about the return of the Demon King, which I don't know what Vince's problem was with that, but how he figured there wasn't money in that is beyond me. And they're going to wind up finding that out real quick, fast, and in a hurry here once all of this starts going into place. And, it really baffles me, because it's just incredible the difference that Triple H has made just over the last 24 hours just with this announcement alone. And then the talent meeting that he had was really going a long way, where he just wanted to emphasize having more transparency as far as communication with the talent. And there's no point where that shouldn't have been the case. Vince's ways were just getting in the way, and it's really that simple. And so much so, it's a perfect segue into the next topic I wanted to bring up. Reports that Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are working to bring back Sasha Banks and Naomi. No surprise there. I mean, duh, if anything. They were on the verge of finalizing the terms of the respective releases of both Banks and Naomi, which, I mean, it's incredible. Timing is everything with this stuff, and, it's really incredible when you get to breaking this down for everything that it is. Months ago, these two walk out, leave the women's tag titles on John Laurinaitis' desk before taking off entirely, and they haven't been seen or heard from since. Now, the reason why this is significant is because obviously Sasha and Triple H go back, especially because Sasha, as Angle had pointed out in his video, she is literally a pillar for what has made NXT into what it is today. I mean, she, if nothing else, embodies black and gold just as much as a Finn Balor did and does, just as much as a Kevin Owens, as much as dang it, I just had the name fresh in my mind. We're gonna say Tommaso Ciampa, who is on the roster. And speaking of Ciampa, now expect to see Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, also pillars of Black and Gold. I definitely think we're going to see them back sooner than later. I mean, really, when it boils down to it, just focusing back on Sasha and Naomi, it's going to be really, really interesting. And the way that I like, or the thing I like the most about all of this, is that Sasha and Naomi are going to take their time coming back. At least this is how it's reported. And they're just going to watch from a distance and just see the direction that everything is going before making a decision. Best possible move. That's really what I suggested needed to be the case last night. See the video from last night, why Sasha and Naomi don't need to be brought back right away. I mean, I think I pretty much had that, but I'm not going to get too full of myself on that one. I'll just really end it on this. One way or the other, I am going to be really, really intrigued to see where all of this goes because, again, a lot of this isn't really going to take effect for at least a couple more months, probably. I mean, at least not fully. And even as it does, there's still some things that need to be shaken off from the whole overtone of what was BKM. I mean, there's just there's just not going to be any quick washing away of the things that have taken place over years, decades. God, let me not go on that, but if nothing else, it can only go up from here. I was saying this yesterday, I'll say it again, I'll keep saying it. It can only go up from here. With that, let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed, like, share, subscribe. Catch y'all later.